Thank you, Doc. First of all, it's always a pleasure to be with you. I'm here to thank you individually and collectively for all the good that you do for Eunice. Yesterday, I was sitting in my office on the rock on the front porch of my house, and Dr. Hillman stopped by and said, "Look, you know the coaches at LSU?" I said, "I know some of them." He said, "Would you be kind enough to call the softball coach and ask me if you'd be our guest speaker?" So I was glad to do it. I happened to have the phone number, then I called this guy, and he said he was glad to do it. That's what brings me here today, but it's nice to be with you. I don't think anybody in this group will argue that probably one of the great things we have in our city is LSU-Eunice. And what makes LSU-Eunice, a lot of times we forget, are the many talented people that it brings to our community. People from all over the country with different philosophies, different ideas, but all, and they come here and they end up loving Eunice. Today I have one of these jewels with me. I don't think I have to tell you what a great job he's done. He's from Mississippi, and in case you don't know, his father was a legendary Red Sox baseball pitcher. I think they called him, his name was Wild Bill, Spaceman Lee. And legendary, compiled winning records at Boston Red Sox with all of you Red Sox fans. And this young man signed a pro contract himself with the Red Sox organization, and I think he played 2 years in the organization, then became a coach at Hines Junior College. He's a native of I think he went to school there too. But anyway, and we ended up stealing him from Hines, and he came to Eunice. He's compiled an outstanding record here, one that is to be envied, I'm sure, by the rest of the coaches in the United States. He's been here 3 years. He's been to the World Series twice with his team. They are a superbly coached group of young ladies, beautiful young ladies. We happened to feed them at my house, and we were all amazed. All of these young ladies, none of them are 7 feet tall, weigh 300 pounds. Normal, beautiful young ladies, kind of like our waitress. Where is she? But anyway, and they compiled an outstanding record. I'd set an all-time batting average of over 400, the highest in the history of the World Series for women's athletics. Not only that, but compiled an outstanding fielding record of over 999 point something, I believe, somewhere in that vicinity. It's kind of hard to go that high because it's unimaginable that you can play 5 games and not commit this but 1 error. But anyway, let me present to you the National Coach of the Year, our own LSU product, Coach Andy Lee. Coach Lee.
I appreciate it. They really didn't steal me out of Mississippi. They was kind of forced to leave a little bit. No, I kept asking for a bunch of stuff. They wouldn't give it to me, and finally but thank you, Curtis. With your support, I'm telling you, this man right here is the best thing that's ever happened to LSU. He, in athletics and everything, he has just done great things and supports the team, and we're so lucky to have him. It's been a wild run, a great run. I told people at the beginning of this year that this is a special team. I've never had the pitch in depth and the defense that of any team I've ever coached. I coached 6 years of baseball, and this was by far the deepest and talented team I've ever had. In the fall season, we played 20 games. We were 15-5. And we only played like 3 or 4 junior colleges. And all the rest were Division II, Division I schools. And we hung right there with them. Went down to Baton Rouge and got a lead on LSU, and then made some errors here and there. But we scored 6 runs against them and did really well against a quality team. But it was just a special year. It really was. And I've been carrying that trophy everywhere with me. Yesterday I took it to Hacienda's and just sat there with me and we had lunch together.
Are you sleeping with it?
No. I'll wait until my ring comes in and then I'll get it back. I want to to get one of those two like double knuckle rings, just where I go recruit, it just gleams everywhere, and also serves as brass knuckles when I get in a fight. No,
Even more.
You know, the turning point of our year was really, I think, in the middle of the year. We were strong, and we weren't putting teams away and stuff, and the chemistry and the passion wasn't quite there. Then I think 2 girls lost their boyfriend, and it was like their boyfriends left them, and I'm telling you that their attitudes of those 2 girls just changed completely. They went to straight team players, and one was just this gritty kid from Lutcher that won a state championship, and man, it's her leadership and all this stuff. We had our sophomores really picked it up at the end of the year, and you know, when you win 58 games, something's going right. We ended up the year 58-10. Went to the regional tournament in Clinton, Mississippi, and struggled with our bats. But we hung in there, we pitched, we played great defense, snuck through there, had to win 2 games on Saturday, and ended up winning those 2 games, one to make it to the IF game and won that. And got a good seed in the regional tournament. We hung on to the #1 ranking all year long. So when we went to the national tournament, we got the #1 seed in a 16-team tournament. And you do not want to fall into the loser's bracket in a 16-team tournament because you have to play 3 games a day, fight through it. But we hung in there, and it really, there was one close game. First game was a 4.5 inning blowout. Second game was our toughest game of the tournament. We played a team, South Mountain, out of Phoenix, Arizona. They had hit over 100 home runs on the season. They had 3 girls with 20 plus. And besides 2 3-run shots, it wasn't, I mean, you know, I think their bats were a little loaded, taken down here to Sadler Supply and shaved out a little bit. But they, you know, that was our toughest game. And then after that, we played Owens College. That was 48-2. I mean, unbelievable record. We beat them 6-0. Played the #2 ranked team in the nation, Kankakee, near Chicago. And it was 11-1 in the 4th inning. I just bring someone else to get some innings in pitching, trying to get some confidence in her. And we walked a few kids, and the ball just seemed to find a hole. They ended up scoring 6 runs in the 5th inning. And we won that game 11-7. And then in the championship game, we won 10-0. But you could just see in those kids' eyes. You could see the competitive. You could see that they weren't going to let this slip away. And I just sat back and watched. I sat on my bucket and just, you know, called signs and, you know, let them play. And pretty much as a coach, that's what you know, you spend your times, all those hours out there in the hot field, practicing and all that. Game time, it's them. It's their time to shine. And you know, it really hasn't quite sunk in yet. But the special part about it is just seeing the emotion on those kids' face after they win, and the celebration, and the, you know, just the bond they have together, and the bond they'll have forever together, and seeing them celebrate with their parents and family members and grandparents, and, you know, knowing that all those years that someone was in the backyard catching them and throwing the balls, and all that paid off, and the pride they have. And that's what was very special for me to see.